Hi, welcome to another episode of Terrific Tarot, where we're today doing a historical figure, Julius Caesar. Hello, Julius Caesar. How can I explain this? Time and space. If those are bendable, we could read the tarot cards from any time and any place. I did the assassination of the day Julius Caesar is assassinated, like 24-hour period before that, during, after. I mean, just basically, I did a Celtic cross spread of the Julius Caesar assassination because I wanted to get a very full picture. I think it worked. So I did Julius Caesar's death day is what I said. I'm reading the coolest book it's called Tarot 101. It is from Kim Huggins, I don't know. Amazing though. She's incredible. I highly recommend this book to all of my one followers. Hello. The Two of Wands. I drew that for the number one of the Celtic Cross, which is who's this reading about? And I got Quirrent is the ruler of their creative and magical energy, exercising their control over their projects. And look at the picture. He has the whole world in his hands. Right, Julius? Yeah, I think he agrees. He's like, yeah, that's totally me. I did use magic. And I also am very creative. And he freaking was. Talk about what this card is, which is number 2, which is talking about the immediate challenge. Okay, well, the immediate challenge is obviously he's getting stabbed like what? How many times? By 60 people? I mean, many times. I don't know, 20 some times. I have no idea how many times. They all brought daggers in because they couldn't bring swords. They could hide daggers in their clothes. In their cloaks? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I have to read this. I want it to be accurate. I want it to be accurate because it's amazing. Okay, Ace of Cups. Obviously, look at it. It does... It is very symbolic, especially I'm Catholic, the Catholic Church. It looks like the cup of Christ, you know, the blood of Christ, the Eucharist, that kind of thing. It is a symbol of spiritual attainment and union with God. The experience of spiritual union with a higher power. Overwhelming joy, so great we cannot contain it. So that's why it's overflowing. But imagine going to where heaven or whatever there was. I don't know. Why wouldn't he go to heaven? Why wouldn't we all go to heaven? Because apparently he did. That's what this is saying. Because that's the immediate problem that is at hand, right? He's getting stabbed, but it's good, okay? Trust me, it gets better. So we're looking at this as the subconscious desires and the foundational, like, what is building up to that moment of ascending into heaven? What is building up to that moment? Okay, so we have Page of Swords. They have excellent organizational skills, keen to take the reins in a group that needs some stability to its plans. The Page of Swords, wait, hold on. The Page of Swords will rent the car, draw up the destination plan, complete with rest breaks and fuel stops, and make sure everybody is at the right place at the right time. This card also thinks outside the box and often has moments of true genius, which we know that he did. Because in the beginning of his career, he was building. He built a city wall around a city. He did some crazy stuff that worked. So he was in many times a creative genius, but also very intellectual. So I think that's kind of freaking amazingly accurate. Okay, so we're going to go to right here, which is the past. All right, now this is also going to blow, well, it blew my mind. Hit me. The power thrust of the mind towards a goal or enemy, and the application of mastery of the mind at its most powerful. This card often indicates competition, leaders of conflicts, and a powerful thinker who considers all aspects before acting upon something. When action is taken, it is swift, unrelenting, and unstoppable. The King of Swords, therefore, advises careful consideration in all matters before action is taken, but also reminds us that abstract thinking does not win the day. Action must be taken, and in order to be successful, that action must be fueled by solid thinking and reasoning. It advises careful strategy and, if necessary, a ruthless plan of attack. As a person, the King of Swords is merciless, cold strategist with one-track mind set on his goal. He does not set out to win any popularity contest, but instead sets to win battles of all kinds, using anything he can do to his advantage. He is often aloof, cruel, and harsh, but also a fair and just authority, not acting rashly, assessing all situations carefully, and acting swiftly when completely informed. The King of Swords may not have the best reputation when it comes to friendship, and he is not a nice person, but he gets the job done. In a reading, he is often a boss. Okay, we already got that. But listen. Okay, there is a story about the pirates. I don't know if you've ever heard about Caesar and the pirates, but they kidnap him when he's young. He's like 25, I think. And he's like really offended by this. I don't even know who he is at this point, really. I don't know a lot about, sorry, I don't know much about you. Anyway, they kidnap him and he's like, he conducts himself with a lot of grace, apparently, and he thinks he's really polite and nice and that they're a bunch of jerks. And he tries to, entertain them and be good company or a good hostage. I have no idea. And they don't appreciate it. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to kill all of y'all. I'm going to kill all y'all. I'm going to kill all y'all when I get off this ship. And you better believe it. And they're like, whatever, loser. Get a life. And so he did do that. But here's the thing. He made sure they were strangled before they were crucified, or at least he recommended it to whoever was going to do the crucifixion, which is a horrible way to go. Apparently, I wouldn't want to go that way. But they were strangled first. So, I mean, not a nice guy and a man of his word. Oh, God. Really? Okay, so let's move on, shall we? Now we're going to come to goals, okay? And for goals, we got the 5 of Wands. Now, this is like equal competition. This is, yes, it's competition, like a sports, like think hockey or something like that, right? Yes, it's competitive, but it's equal. Everybody's kind of in the same shape. Everyone has the same status, okay? So maybe goals, he's just expecting he's just fighting it out with people. Maybe he likes it. You know what? I think, I don't know this guy. I don't know you. But I know assholes no offense. I know guys like him. They're fun. They are cool, fun guys. But, geez, they suck when you don't agree with them, right? I mean, they get a little bit testy. And also don't insult them. And maybe if you disagree with them, you have to do it in the most diplomatic of ways. Not him, though. He won't. He's not going to worry about that. But you have to. But he doesn't. But you better. You see what I'm saying? So the power dynamic there is weird. But I don't think it means you get assassinated, okay? Let me just say this. Now we're getting to the part, right? Actually, we're getting to the part. The senators were so equal to Caesar in this card. It is freaking obvious to me. And I'm getting pissed because they always want to say, and they always use this language. It's like they felt like he was becoming a tyrant. They felt like he was becoming a tyrant. They say other things too, like, by all appearances, he was okay, but there's not absolute. Well, I mean, probably to the Gauls, he was a fucking horrific figure, monstrous. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't get what you deserve. I mean, you definitely got some parts of things that you deserved, right? Even you could admit that now, right? Hello? See? Silent treatment. Never. That would never happen with him, I don't think. I don't think he's the silent treatment type. The point is, diplomacy matters, okay? It does. I have been guilty of not being very diplomatic. I have been guilty of being very blunt and not even thinking two things of it. It's like, oh, so what are you going to do now? You should have a plan. But then people go, like they don't even want to accept that they should make a move. They need to be making a move, right? Okay. What is my point? My point is this. Fake news. He didn't deserve to get assassinated. He was not becoming a dictator. Not in any true sense of the word. Here's what it was. He just was that awesome, okay? Look, he wanted to give land to the population, the people who wanted some land. The land was being taken up by all the senators and all the rich people. And it's kind of like today a little bit. Everyone who already has it ain't giving it up very easily. And if you don't have it, it's real hard to get it. It was corrupt, probably. And he was part of a corrupt system, okay? And he probably saw that, the little people were getting pwned on a daily. And maybe he had a fucking heart. I mean, yeah, he also was using his head, okay? Because let's face it, if you could get although the population, what are they going to do? But I think it scared the senators because the competition. And if you could get a mass of the populace to think you're freaking awesome because they were able to get a little something, and make something that would last, that's kind of a big deal. If you're opening a gate when it's been closed for so long to you, the senator was like, hey, douchebag, you're giving away my great-great-grandmother's trash bag thing that I never ever used, but it's mine. And you didn't even say please. And he'll be like, fuck you. I mean, that's kind of... And wouldn't many of us say the same? I wouldn't. Not me, because I'm learning lessons every day, and I'm learning that saying that is really bad. But sometimes when you're, in this position, no one humbles you to your face. Let's move on. Because now we have the future, which is the 10 of Cups. Okay? And so obviously, what's the future? Well, he's not on this earth anymore. I did write it down. I did. Complete fulfillment and happiness, stability and safety, surrounded by closest friends and family. So it's almost as if he's in heaven. So that's the future. So he dies right here, and it's just his consciousness raises to the most joy of God. All right. So we got that. Now let's get to the rest of the juicy bits. We pulled the Knight of Swords for how does he see himself? How do you see yourself? And yeah. Okay, so how does Caesar see himself? Here we go. Knight of Swords. As the airy part of air, the Knight of Swords represents the keen and penetrating mind. However, while this card gives us plenty of brilliant ideas, like the Page of Swords, verging on genius, he lacks the ability to focus or to bring them into being. The Knight of Swords is the unfocused, random mind with a short attention span, preferring to move quickly onto a new idea before the current one gets old and boring. This card advises us to keep our minds and ideas fresh, new, and exciting, getting as much experience and information as possible from many different areas of thought. This will limit depth of knowledge, but for the purposes of some projects, this is not necessarily a setback. The Knight of Swords enjoys questing for knowledge, but moves onward far too quickly, showing that he values the quest itself more than the eventual end. To many, he is the jack of all trades, yet master of none, knowing a little about everything, just enough to give him a strong opinion on most matters, but not enough for this opinion to stand under a little criticism. In a reading, this card often indicates quarrels and conflicts and the act of rushing in without thinking very much. It can also represent mischief or a quest for knowledge. A Knight of Swords person loves to hear himself talk, constantly communicating with others and bragging. He may also be impatient, rebellious toward authority, and eager to cause trouble. He dislikes being given orders by authority and will refuse to carry them out, even if it is something he would have done under his own steam before. He can also be arrogant and audacious, yet quick-witted, with a keen mind. At his best, he can be a rebel fighter for the cause of justice and the oppressed. But at his worst, his strong opinions can lead to fundamentalism. Okay. Oh, whoops. Hello. Okay. This is the exciting part. Oh, you saw yourself. You saw yourself in this way as many of us see you, except for a few things. And I will say, I bet you he didn't, because then he wouldn't be dead right now, right? So I'm sure rushing in, being he was a master at some things, let's face it, but he should have been a master of knowing when people were going to kill him. That's what you should have been a master of. Loser! Just kidding. What struck me is being told what to do, and even though that's what you would have done, you say, no, you're not going to do it because you were told to do it. You see what I mean? I feel like that's kind of his personality a little bit, you know? I think he gave mercy out more than is described to it, like more than we probably know. Because I feel like maybe he figured there's no way they would do that to me. You know, where a lot of people are paranoid and they think on a day, like leaders like him should be paranoid. I would be. They're going to kill me today. Today's the day. And obviously he wasn't. Because he even had warnings and he was like, I got it. Dude, I'd be going somewhere far away, hiding out like a freaking scared person. Because I would believe it. But he didn't. So I don't think he thought for a second that was going to happen. So that's what makes me think in his heart, he was a very merciful person. I think he probably was I'm not saying I'd want to kidnap him and then get crucified, but I'm saying he probably was, maybe for that time, that was justifiable. I mean, I don't want to get kidnapped. I'd be upset with this. Okay, let's move on. Now for the environment, so everything that's surrounding him, and just how people perceive him on the outside, we got the King of Wands. So I'm going to go ahead and read that here. Admired by many, his exploits are both daring and self-aggrandizing, and he is hated by many as well. But whether he is loved or despised, he is always respected. His social skills are incomparable, his mastery and understanding of his self and sexual prowess unparalleled, but he, like the Knight of Wands, enjoys danger for its own sake. He is a master charlatan, eager to be many things in his life without the necessary requirements of dedication. This is not to say he is a jack of all trades, however, for his propensity for mastery, new skills, and projects is brilliant. And indeed, he excels at anything he attempts. Okay, so in his environment, he really has a great handle on his environment, right? And that's going to cause so much more stress for these senators who are clearly hanging on by a thread. I feel like they are jerks who don't like the fact that, yes, okay, he's being cynical, doing the land stuff for the people and doing all the stuff he's doing for the regulars, right? So what? Who cares? So what? So we did draw the moon for the hopes and fears, and the moon means deception. So I don't know if he was afraid of getting murdered in the Senate, and that's the thing. I don't think he was afraid of getting murdered in the Senate hallways or whatever, you know? So he was probably hoping just to have a normal day, and then he got murdered in the Senate at his job, whatever. Here's the thing, the outcome. Okay, I'm also going to read the outcome because that's also very interesting. So the outcome, we got the Three of Wands. It says 3 is the number of action, being the direct result of 1 and 2. When an inspiration is given form through planning and applied effort, it requires action to manifest as a result. In the Three of Wands, we find inspiration taking hold of one's life, inspiring further projects and goals. It can indicate teamwork and other people's energy and drive being added to a project or endeavor. I'm not saying it was a good project. I'm not saying that. But they managed. That's what they did. They decided they had to do it in public. They all got together. They decided they had to do it in public. And where's the most public private place? The Senate. It made so much sense. Julius Caesar's bodyguards were not allowed to be in there. Poor Julius never had a chance. And that's the thing. He just, could you believe it? He never saw it coming. Obviously. It was his environment and who he was that created this amazing thing, but also just at the same time, it was a double edged sword. And I look at all the swords. I think that's amazing. So, thank you for joining me on today's reading of Julius Caesar, the day that he was assassinated. And I look forward to doing other readings. I really thought this was great.